Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Stephen Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Stephen Larson. This coming, man, we've got a packed weekend. So Thursday, Smash Zone, 5 to 7 Pacific. Friday, Impact Wrestling's Against All Odds. The second greatest Phil Collins song of all time.
Yeah, I mean, that's up for debate, but the greatest is In the Air Tonight. Sorry. That's not debatable.
Steve's second greatest Phil Collins song of all time. Oh,
Land
of Confusion might be my second. God, that's
you can't discount Sussudio. Such a catchy tune.
It is. The video for Land of Confusion, though, I mean, God, biting.
I know.
Biting.
I know.
And relevant.
With the spitting image, that what those puppets were called?
Man.
Remember they had their own show?
They did have their own show. It was very vulgar, too.
Yes, it was.
And then on Saturday, of course, we've got Money in the Bank. Yeah. And then our recap after that. And then we get to take Sunday and Monday off. Also, coming up, I think this weekend, Monday. Are we doing? When are we putting up the G1 preview?
We haven't talked about that.
I don't know. Monday? Does that sound good? Sunday?
Well, the Mondays we're going to put a count at it.
What's our count out this week?
We're going to do worst Money in the Bank cash-ins on Monday.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Right on.
That one should do well. We can put, I don't know, we'll put up, we'll talk about it.
Okay. So, but coming up soon, this week we're going to be recording. Yes. We're going to be filming with Karen, post-wrestling, longtime friend of the show, expert on all things Japanese wrestling. She's going to be finally, after like 6 years of trying to get her on this show, she's finally made time in her schedule to help us figure out this G1 coming up, because predictions for August is going to be exclusively.
Well, not exclusively. I think there is one Impact show in August, but that's it.
I kind of like the idea of just doing the
All
G1.
Right,
Doesn't that sound cooler?
It does.
Yeah.
It's a lot on the line there.
I know. No, I know. That's why it's nuts.
I think it's the largest field ever. There's four blocks.
Between you and I,
finals. What?
Come on. Like, this is Enforcer's time. I feel like he's usually Mr. New Japan. I politicked my way out of Dominion, which probably ended up winning me Big Red in the end.
I think it did, because I won Dominion.
Well, yeah, but that wasn't real. Like, I wasn't. You probably would have. Like, fuck it. You know what? Sure, you won Dominion. Why not? But that's usually Enforcer's thing. Who knows? That might have brought him 7 extra points. He could have won Big Red this month. But I said, I don't want to do that. Larson, shoot a ball, and then you missed.
Yeah, well, that was fairly predictable.
No, usually you got a pretty good shot sometimes. So, our G1s. We're going to try to figure out the G1. We're going to nail down every single match, what the results are going to be, thanks to Karen helping us out. Sometime we're going to get it up sometime on the show. We're going to film it on Thursday, so that should be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Money in the Bank's coming up. Of course, Road to Money in the Bank coming to a close this Friday on SmackDown. But in the meantime, Monday saw all sorts of implications for Money in the Bank. A couple of last chance matches featuring winners that were fairly predictable, but still, it was good to see those matches. I like whenever they have matches that mean something in my wrestling programming. And then, of course, there was just a ton of Peacemaker on the show. John Cena, it was his 20th anniversary. Very introspective. John Cena shows up. Very, I guess, emotional, or at least he had his emotion chip in.
It seemed like he was about to get a bit emotional during his promo when he started talking about how hard his heart was beating.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
That's the closest I've ever seen him to getting like genuinely emotional.
Yeah, right. Do you really want to taste it? Well, that
do you wish you just went out there and did that dance routine?
Yes. God, yes. I really do. But I guess Johnny Butabi has the rights to that now. So yeah, there was a lot of Cena last night, including, God, I hope one of those wrestling channels photoshops, just like they did with AJ Styles at Slammiversary.
Oh, yeah.
Photoshops.
Daniel Bryan next to John Cena during his promo.
Yeah.
You know, if no one's done
it. We should do it here. Oh, man. So, yeah, there's a lot of Cena, a lot of Money in the Bank. We're going to talk about that all in just a second. But first, we got a little bit of news here involving More wrestlers, the mass exodus from AEW. I'm not going to call those on a mass exodus over the weekend.
It's not a mass exodus, but there's a few people leaving. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a business. People come and go. It's wrestling. Over the weekend, Fightful Select reported that there were several, quote, under the radar per appearance agreements that have expired this year that haven't ended up being public as of yet. End quote from Fightful. While AEW hasn't made any announcements since regarding talent departing the company, both Alan Angels and Chuck Taylor may have indicated they're done with AEW via their Twitter. Angels tweeted yesterday, excited for what's next, while Taylor simply deleted all his tweets.
So admittedly, this is flimsy evidence that they are done with AEW, especially in the case of Chuck Taylor. Alan Angels, this could be interpreted as, I'm done with AEW and go do what I want to do now.
So it could be any number of things, but I don't know, as a wrestler, don't you not say something like that unless, I don't know. That one, that's an easy connection to make there.
That is, but Chuck deleting all his tweets, I don't know what that means.
He just might be tired of Twitter, to be honest with you. I don't blame him.
Could be the case.
I don't blame him.
Don't blame him either.
Chuck and Trent, of course, were some of the AEW originals when they first got when the company first got off the ground. Of course, Trent these days is more Roppongi Vice than Best Friends. Not a lot going on in the Best Friends area these days, and so that kind of leaves Chuck Taylor without an obvious. There's some people who could be his tag team partners, but it's not like he's there with Trent anymore.
Okay. So hey, Robin here in chat says Chuck deletes his tweets all the time. That's his thing. All right.
Yeah.
So it could be nothing.
Yeah.
I would think. Sorry, that if we're talking per appearance agreements, I would be pretty shocked if Chuck Taylor was on such a deal. Because you mentioned he came in early on. Yeah. Best Friends were pushed at various points pretty hard in the tag division. Now Trent's off doing his own thing. But with Cassidy coming back from injury now, that might give. I don't know if Chuck himself is dealing with any sort of injury. We haven't seen him on TV in a while. I would think him just deleting all his tweets, especially with something that he does from time to time. It really isn't any indication what his future in AEW could be. Especially if, as Fightful says, there's a lot of per appearance agreements that are coming up. Yeah, because I'd be really surprised if Trent was on if Chuck was on one of those.
It does seem to be. So we did have, let's see here, the last time it looks like, according to Cage Match, Chuck Taylor was in a match, was actually on New Japan Strong. He's got a good relationship with New Japan, so maybe he's going to do some more time there. Back in March was the last time he wrestled for AEW, and that was there was an Elevation, and then on March 16th on Dynamite, Chuck Taylor and Wheeler Yuta got beat by Wheeler Yuta's future stablemates, Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. That's, I think, when, they were like, oh, this guy, he knows what he's doing. And then Wheeler was like, I want to be with them. So, yeah, I don't know. Wouldn't shock me if that was the case. Who knows? Things change all the time. Yeah, you're right. With Chuck Taylor, it seems like his social media probably isn't the best example of leading you somewhere. But on the other hand, according to a couple people here in chat as well, and Alan Angels also deleted or changed, took the AEW banner out of his Twitter banner. That wouldn't shock me, given that Stu Grayson also left a couple months ago. And we have not seen much of the Dark Order. John Silver is a very much loved character in AEW, and so he finds TV time quite a bit. Yeah. But as far as the larger Dark Order, I don't know, man. I kind of feel like it's sort of the sad last days. Like there's not a lot left for them to do, seemingly with no obvious direction. I'm sure maybe Tony Khan has plans for Hangman Page, but right now there doesn't seem to be any obvious, storylines that we can see for him beyond just the general how to deal with not being a champion. So get rid of this thing. So yeah, I don't know about the Dark Order, man.
I don't know either. I don't know. I'd be pretty surprised to hear if I wouldn't be surprised to hear if Chuck left, but it's just the per appearance thing. I'd be shocked if he was under one of those and just, that expired and he just left. Now if his contract expired, that's a different thing. And he's like, well, I'm not wrestling here. I'll go to go back to New Japan or whatever. That I would believe, because he hasn't been on TV in forever.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's entirely possible that his contract coming up coincides with these other deals coming up. So who knows? We won't know until someone says something.
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, look, we're entering the phase of AEW when, they've been around for a while now. Mm-hmm. And in some respects, you can still consider them, big picture, a relatively new company. But
absolutely.
Contracts are coming up. People are leaving. People are coming. People are going.
It's 3 years, about 3 years since the first Double or Nothing,
Yeah, right. Yeah. So be on the lookout for more of that. That's the fun part about wrestling, is whenever people, they come and go places, they do different things, and it's great, get to see them in a new light.
Let's take a quick break here. We get a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp Online Therapy. Steve, burnout is usually associated with work, but any of life's roles can leave you feeling overwhelmed and burned out without you really realizing it.
That's totally true, Larson. So if you're experiencing fatigue, irritability, or a lack of motivation, you could be dealing with burnout. And BetterHelp wants to remind you to prioritize yourself. Talking to someone can help you find out what's causing the stress in your life.
Yeah, I've been there before. There have been times in my life where I wasn't taking enough time for myself, where I was feeling overwhelmed by life. So I felt that fatigue, that lack of motivation, that irritability that comes with burnout. And I've gone through the process of trying to find a therapist, so I know how difficult it can be to find the right person to talk to. But BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to.
It's also much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you could be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. And right now, Going In Raw listeners can get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/raw. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
Before we get back to the show, let's get a word from our sponsor, Athletic Greens. You know me, Steve. I'm always on the lookout for ways to get more energy and improve my gut health. And now that I've started taking AG1, I'm getting 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help start my day off right.
Nice. Athletic Greens is the one thing with the best things. It uses the best of the best products based on the latest science to support your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, sleep, mental clarity, and aging. Plus, it contains less than 1 gram of sugar and has no artificial anything, no gross chemicals, and no GMOs.
Yeah, I make myself a serving of AG1 first thing in the morning before I eat some breakfast. And I've noticed that my gut health has improved and my energy has gone up. And it's been a breeze to work into my daily routine. And whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free, AG1 can fit into your lifestyle, and it costs less than $3 a day.
Right now is the time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health.
To make it easy, Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/raw. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/raw to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
Now that we've talked about AEW, let's talk about some WWE. Last night's Raw, of course, like I mentioned, John Cena celebrates 20 years. Because we're talking about that very specifically now in this show, we've been asked this question various other times, including the questions threads that we did yesterday is going to go up on Friendo Club TV tomorrow. Today is I put up the supercut of our reactions to Forbidden Door. A lot of fun that stuff is. But what's your favorite John Cena moment over the past 20 years, Larson?
Oh, that's easy. It's when he gave The Rock cry face.
Yeah, The Rock cry face. That's probably mine.
That was
too.
Good. That was good. I mean, pretty much anytime he's given anybody cry face, he gave The Miz cry face, he gave Roman Reigns cry face.
Yeah.
I mean, he's pretty much given everybody cry face. I mean, he is without a doubt one of, if not the greatest talker in WWE history.
Oh, for
he
sure.
can go out there and drop a promo and give anybody cry face.
Yeah,
anybody.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's not necessarily the sole criteria for being a good talker. But if you want to see him at his best, it's when he just like gets right to the heart of the matter and just finds that one line that just really sticks it to his opponent. Yeah. And they have no retort other than to just not cry.
Yeah, right. That's all they can hope to do at that point.
Yes.
It was interesting, given that we had speculated that Cena might be the opponent for Austin Theory come SummerSlam, that, they did a thing backstage where Theory confronted him and, I guess peacocked him, tried to big dog him. And Cena didn't really say a whole lot. He just sort of made himself disappear when Theory tried to take a selfie. He just sort of soaked it in. Given what we saw last night, was there any more evidence to suggest that he's going to be there for SummerSlam, or is any evidence against that?
You would think if they're going to do something at SummerSlam, the bit between Theory and Cena would have been more substantial. And like Theory would have come out and interrupt his promo or something like that, or come out towards the end to start some shit. But we didn't get that, so I don't know if it's something where they have in the back of their mind that they would like to do should Cena have an availability to schedule. Maybe that's not SummerSlam, maybe that's WrestleMania. Depending, WrestleMania is going to be in LA. I know they want The Rock there because we've heard that countless times. Sure, they'd love to have Cena there. Yeah. And if Cena can make it, then have the match against Austin Theory. There's
one thing to consider here. Theory has a match coming up against Bobby Lashley. Maybe they don't want him jumping the gun because they're still trying to promote that. And they did that, I thought, pretty well last night with the Bobby Lashley handicap match. That Otis bit was amazing. That was crazy. And so maybe the idea is, why would he confront John now, knowing that it's going to lead to a match if he's got Bobby Lashley? Maybe they don't want to put that in people's heads in advance of Money in the Bank. Maybe after Money in the Bank, when Austin Theory wins, when Theory wins, he'll then say, hey, I just proved that I'm the best U.S. champion in history because I'm also the youngest champion in U.S. history. I'm saying U.S. history. Also the youngest U.S. champ in WWE history.
Yeah.
Nobody can touch me, and John Cena certainly can't see me. Still feeling the snub from not being in his selfie.
Yeah.
And then maybe that'll prompt John Cena to come back for SummerSlam. That's all I got on that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what Cena's schedule is like moving forward. So maybe he's busy this summer. Maybe he's got some productions in production. But maybe come next spring, maybe he'll be available. I don't know. I mean, I could see them wanting to have Cena in a match at Mania, if possible. It's obvious they want to push Austin Theory as one of the guys going forward. So whether it's SummerSlam or it's Mania, I think I'm guessing WWE would be happy either way.
Yeah.
One interesting thing about the celebration of John Cena is that we saw some familiar faces via Matt Chat question video messages.
Oh yeah.
Plenty of John Cena's contemporaries. So we had Randall Keith Orton, you had Triple H, you had Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
But you also had a few people that aren't in WWE anymore. In fact, they're in AEW. Namely, Bryan Danielson, of course, Daniel Bryan in WWE. Paul White.
Yeah.
Of course, he's Paul White in AEW, but he's the Big Show in WWE.
No more BS. Yes, BS when he's in WWE.
Yes, and then Chris Jericho, who's Chris Jericho in AEW, but also Chris Jericho in WWE.
He's also a wizard, which explains why he was able to do both, WWE and AEW at the same time.
While keeping the same name, yes.
Right, while keeping the same name. That's why, because he's a wizard. Man. Jericho's that one dude. I don't give a shit what he does outside WWE or outside wrestling. He'll always continue to entertain me, dude. Because I'm a wizard. Anyways, oh man, it was interesting. I believe there was a Fightful report also that's just said, they hit up Tony Khan. He said, sure, just make sure I just want approval on this shit. And then they went ahead and did it. So
yeah,
that's cool.
According to Fightful, they apparently WWE got virtually everyone they had hoped for.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? It couldn't work both ways. Like, couldn't Tony have called up WWE and been like, hey, we're doing this big Owen thing. Can you just send us like some shots of him like after he was 19 years old? Can
it probably would have happened.
Yeah.
Click.
Oh, wow. You think so? I mean, okay. So what's the, I understand. It's probably just like, yeah, sure. Good faith, right?
Yeah.
But he's a businessman. You can't get a couple shots of Owen because they did this before when there was
Jericho, Jericho going on the Broken Skull sessions,
But wasn't there another one?
Oh,
they were doing like a DVD. I think they were doing like a DVD, not a DVD, but they were doing like a documentary of something.
Yeah.
And I think he gave approval for something like that. He had to deal with Johnny Ace.
That sounds right. Yeah.
And it's like, man, let's get something in return. A couple shots of Owen.
I mean,
something. Tony
Khan realizes and accepts and includes the idea there's more to the wrestling world than his own company.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see when Claudio comes in, bang, he starts up his feud with Eddie Kingston. That happened in Shakara, like, I don't know, a decade ago or something like that.
Yeah, Excalibur has to say, famously hate each other.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's... saying, hey, there's a giant world of wrestling outside of my company. WWE doesn't do that, though.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just a philosophical thing where Tony realizes probably, I'm not Tony Khan. I don't know. Maybe he told this to his assistant, per our conversation yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, John Cena, he's a huge deal. I understand that Bryan Danielson and Chris Jericho and Paul White are probably not only have great respect for John Cena, but consider him a friend. They probably want to do this for John. So sure, let's do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't think you'd call him up if they were trying to do something? I don't know, for fucking whatever, Danielson or something like that. Hey, WWE, can you send me some like footage of WrestleMania 30?
That wouldn't happen.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Click, really? It's like, hey,
I'll let you
click. I let you use
click,
Daniel Bryan.
Like, they probably say, oh, we got to run it by our legal team or something, and the legal team be like, no, we can't do that. Sorry.
Oh, wow. Maybe. Could be.
I'd be very surprised.
Yeah. You should ask. Anyways, yeah. So, also, Money in the Bank field complete. Basically, kind of.
Well, there's one spot remaining, yes.
Yeah.
But that's because Kevin Owens didn't want to wrestle in Texas.
Right. So we had a Becky in the main event in a last chance match, elimination match.
Mm-hmm.
After Doudrop went on a bit of a run, Becky dropped her with like a second rope manhandle slam to pick up the win. Now she, also on the poster, don't you think there should be some sort of stipulation each year? Hey, if you're on the poster, you get free ride into the match.
You're automatically on the card, at least. Not necessarily in the ladder match, but you're on the show.
Shit, if it was me, I'd say, if you're going to be on the poster, you're in the match.
So in Steve's estimation, the Money in the Bank qualifying matches are whether you get on the poster or not.
Yeah. Yes, correct.
All right. All right.
Whatever the final poster ends up being.
And not only did Becky qualify for Money in the Bank, so did Riddle. There was a pretty fun battle royal that opened the show. Riddle found himself the winner of that. And it's going to be interesting. You can make the case thus far, well, depending on who fills the open spot, because Kevin Owens' Ezekiel match didn't happen last night. So if that match doesn't happen on SmackDown, then in theory we can be walking into the pay-per-view with an open spot in the Men's Money in the Bank match. And if Cody somehow finds himself there, you could make the case, although Cody, if he's in it, would be the strongest case, for 4 people winning that match. You got Cody, you got Seth, you got Drew, and you can make a case for Sami Zayn.
Yep.
Whereas I think in the women's match, it's kind of Becky.
Yeah. There are multiple reasons why it should be Becky. Absolutely. I was going to look at, let's see here. I want the betting odds for Money in the Bank. Let's take a look here. Now, keep in mind, this is not as much of a spoiler as it has been in the past. There was a period of time when like whoever was dealing with this stuff had them, like, even weird results were coming through correctly.
Yeah, of course, just this past Sunday, the final betting odds had the LA Dojo beating Max Caster and the Gun Club.
It had Bullet Club winning over the Dudes with Attitudes too.
Yeah. And neither of those outcomes came to pass. So.
Right. Let's see if I can find the betting odds here. Let's see here. No, that's not it. I was going to load up the Sportster, but my God, they've got so many. Oh, our friends at Wrestle Talk. Hopefully they don't have a lot of pop-ups here. All right, here we go. Wow. Okay, so this is this is 2 weeks ago. I want something more current. Because as of 2 weeks ago, Cody wasn't even in the top 10. Let's see. I want something here. I'm going to go to the news section. Latest revealed. Oh, 1 hour ago. All right, let me see if I can just deal with freaking pop-ups from the Sportster. Let's see here.
Here, I'll go to their source was a separate site. So I got that up right now. So right now in the ladder match, Cody is the favorite in the men's ladders match.
Really?
Oh, wait, that's Royal Rumble. Sorry.
Oh, no.
What the heck?
Uh-oh.
So the only matches they have up right now are the Women's Raw and SmackDown Championship matches, and then the tag title match. They don't have the current odds for Money in the Bank ladder match.
What the heck? It's less than a week away.
I know. It might come up later.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Bet Online has released the update. The betting odds for Menza and Bobby Lashley have not been posted yet. Wow. Interesting. All right. Well, there you go then, and there you have it.
There you go.
I don't know, man. We're going to have some decisions to make between now and then. I mean, that's probably going to be the men's Money in the Bank. Is probably going to be where my 1 point lies.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, Seth, Cody, Drew, and then who was the other one?
I said Sami Zayn. You can make the case for Sami Zayn.
He's been talking about it a lot lately. Yeah, he's been talking about it a lot. I kind of feel like that's just to further his story with the
it is
trying to get in close. Yeah,
of the four, he would have the weakest case.
Yeah. I get the feeling, I don't know, man. Like, well, if Kevin Owens ends up getting in, but yeah, that'd have to be on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can make the case for Riddle too, probably just as much as Sammy. Not as strong a case as Drew or Seth or even Cody, but the case could be made.
I'd put Riddle and Sammy around the same odds. Amos has 0%.
Yeah, he's not winning that.
0.1%.
He's not winning, no.
And then Sheamus, as much as I love Sheamus, he's not winning either.
No, he's not winning either.
Yeah,
no,
he's got better odds than Amos, but not by
much.
Yeah,
not by much.
Yeah.
Before we go to the preview, let's talk about this real quick. So Vince McMahon showed up again. After not appearing on SmackDown on Friday. There was a report from the New York, I think it's New York Magazine's Intelligencer, I think is what it's called.
I think you're right about that, yeah.
About a sexual assault allegation made against Vince from 1986, with some testimony from a wrestler that corroborated the initial account. And seemingly despite that, Vince just walked out there like business as usual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, he wasn't going to come out there all sweaty and nervous. He didn't make an appearance on SmackDown on Friday. The timing on this, given this new report that's coming out on an old thing that was already known, but new corroboration, is I think not necessarily coincidental. It's like he feels maybe a bit more pressure back against the wall. What are you going to do? What are you, go and soak in some adulation and try to once again further prove the point that, hey, I am the WWE together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it will be interesting how that article will, if at all, in any way, shape, or form, changes the landscape of what's going on here with Vince McMahon. So yeah, I mean, there's the investigation. I don't know how long the investigation from the board of directors is going to take.
No idea. I mean, if they're getting into all the NDAs, it could be a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Anyways, we can jump into it if you'd like.
Yeah.
Show open with John Cena arriving at the arena, and he comes in through the door, and there's just on both sides of him just a bunch of wrestlers lined up, and producers and people, production people, and he'll stop and shake hands here or there. It's interesting to see whose hands he did shake and whose he nearly passed by Nakamura, then stopped and went and kind of gave him a good handshake.
Yeah,
he gave Dolph a huge hug, and it was great that Becky Lynch was still in character this entire time. She's
awesome.
sitting on a road case, just
the slowest, most sarcastic.
Yep.
Yeah, sullen clap. Yeah, just who cares? Who gives a shit? I'd rather be here and try to bring him down than not be here at all.
Yeah.
I'd rather infect him with my mood.
It was great.
Yeah, that was awesome. I think I saw Billy Kidman there.
I think that was Billy Kidman, yes.
Because he passed by him and then he sort of did a double take and he gave him a big old hug. But yeah, no, it was pretty interesting. And then we got to see a bunch of backstage interactions, which we'll get to throughout the show. And then he gave a really long, very emotional speech. So, like you said earlier, it kicked off, though, with Last Chance Battles. As he was leaving, he gave a little kip, a heel clip.
Oh, yeah, he
whatever that's
heels,
called,
yeah.
But then we opened up with a Last Chance Battle Royal for the final spot in the men's Money in the Bank. You note here in your notes, how did AJ Styles not get an entrance?
Yeah, that was weird because Nakamura, Riddle, and someone else got entrance. I believe there was 3 entrances before the match began. Yet the Miz was in the match. He didn't get an entrance. AJ didn't get an entrance.
Yeah,
it was just surprising. I didn't even realize Miz was in the match till halfway. Oh, the Mysterios. That's right. Thank you, Timmy. Mysterios got an entrance. Nakamura got an entrance, and then Riddle got an entrance. Miz didn't. And then AJ didn't.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize Miz was in the match till about halfway through.
There's a lot of Miz last night.
There was a lot of Miz.
Arguably, too. I mean, look, his match with AJ, not counting the finish, was fine. It was a really good match. Miz can still put on really good matches, and especially
with the right
AJ
opponent.
Styles.
Yeah.
With the right opponent is key. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was that. Looks like they're doing him and Logan Paul at SummerSlam.
SummerSlam. Yeah.
Which is fine. Logan Paul's entertaining. But yeah, there was a lot of Miz, and I can't stand, honestly, because it's so overdone. The heel in a battle royal who sits it out and then comes in at the very end when you think there's a winner, and then he screws somebody over. I can't stand that stuff.
Yeah,
I'm over it at this point. Especially, honestly, maybe just especially because it's Miz.
Yeah, maybe it has more to do with Miz than anything else.
Yeah. And if you're going to do it, be clever about it. Sometimes they'll do it where you'll think they're out of sight, out of mind. You think they're eliminated and they just show up and it's oh, that guy was there the whole time. They weren't, but this was just okay, obviously he's fine.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best. When it's employed the best is when they don't focus on it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
When it just kind of happens, you don't even really notice it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they're still in,
Yeah. Right. Yeah, totally. So anyways, let's see here. So Veer gets eliminated by the Mysterios and Ali. That was a pretty big deal. They're all very happy about that.
Yeah.
Veer had eliminated Tozawa and Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin also with a big handshake and hug to John Cena.
Yeah.
That was cool to see because they were kind of in the same class.
Yeah, I would say Shelton's been there. I mean, not the whole time.
Continuously, yeah.
Yeah, but he got called up or got brought up to the main roster shortly after Cena did so.
So then Jinder and Shanky eliminate R-Truth. Jinder then eliminates Shanky. Jinder's just at the end of his rope with Shanky, man. He's tired of him.
Yeah, he is.
And then AJ eliminates Jinder. And then Dijak. The ending sequence with Dijak and Ricochet, I know that's okay, it's over here, was phenomenal. So yeah, Dijak throws really Reggie out of the ring onto everybody else. Ciampa eliminates Ali. AJ eliminates Ciampa. Dom tries to eliminate Dolph. He ends up eliminating himself though because he's not very good, and then he needs to join Judgment Day. And then Miz and Dolph eliminate Ray. And then this was great. So Ricochet him and Dijak are going at it.
Mm-hmm.
So Dijak tries to like kind of choke slam him off the apron, and Ricochet ends up just jumping to the nearby ladder and holding on to it for dear life. It was this whole sequence was fucking outrageous.
Really good, yeah.
So then he ends up getting back on the apron. T-Bar grabs him by the throat. Ricochet then does a head scissors onto T-Bar off the apron, but he stays on.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That was
pretty great.
Fucking crazy.
It was pretty great. It was awesome.
awesome.
After that, Nakamura eliminates Dolph. Riddle then eliminates Nakamura. AJ eliminates Ricochet. So Riddle and AJ are the final two in the ring. But The Miz, who's on the floor faking the knee injury, getting 10-2 by trainers, he's still in the match. So then AJ, he goes on the apron. He's looking for phenomenal form. Miz trips him up. AJ falls to the floor. He's eliminated. Back in the ring, Riddle's looking for RKO. Miz counters that with a skull-crushing finale. He's trying to clothesline Riddle out, but instead Riddle locks on a triangle, and they both tumble to the apron. And then Riddle ends up hitting Miz with an RKO on the apron, sending Miz to the floor. Riddle wins. He will be in the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Yes. Yeah. Not terribly surprising, but I really kind of wanted AJ in the match too. Honestly, why is a Moss in there when you can have AJ Styles?
I know. AJ is due. He should have won 2 years ago.
They're going to do... no, that was Otis's time. They're going to do...
How'd that work out?
They're going to do some... great for me. They're going to do some fantastic spot with him. It was an all-time moment, be honest.
All-time shitty moment.
They're going to do some big Amos thing where they take advantage of his height. We don't need that when we have AJ Styles, who, by the way, if AJ's in that match, you're thinking... He's got Riddle odds. He's kind of got Riddle odds. I could see you could at any time AJ, and that's what you want in the match. We know Amos is not going to win this. There's nothing you can do to convince me that Amos has any chance in this match.
I know. I agree 1,000%. Then after that match, we get commentary announcing that Owens versus Ezekiel has been rescheduled. So unless it's rescheduled to SmackDown, it's not going to happen.
The kickoff show or something?
If it's going to be a qualifier match, that is. Then we got a Street Profits promo, and they say we're always mingling with the finest WWE superstars backstage, but tonight we got John Cena. The camera pans over, and there's nobody there. And they're like, no, he's over here, and pans over, and there's John Cena. And Ford says, tonight's all about you. We want to ask for some advice because we've never been able to beat the Bloodline or pin them in a tag team match. And Cena says, you've been NXT champs, Raw champs, SmackDown champs. You got more energy than a bolt of lightning. Never forget how good you are. And you never, then Ford kind of interrupts, says, you never give up. And Cena says, yeah, because you want the smoke.
Yes, correct. That worked tonight. Won't work against the Usos as a tag team championship match.
Yes.
That's
all correct.
They are doing a really good job sort of building this, though. It's like you and I both know the Usos tag titles are kind of probably tied to Roman and how long he has the Universal title, maybe, at least for the short term. But I'm not going to say, I'm not going to have big confidence points on the Usos. I probably will. But I'm not going to have all of them. You know what I mean? They're doing a good job making me think, what's probably maybe more likely and should happen, and we've been advocating for this for a long time, this is the Street Profits' last chance, and then they're going to break up.
Yeah.
Because they're like, hey, we have done everything. We've just illustrated that. But we can't get over this hump. So
let's go separate ways.
Just put a rocket to Montez Ford.
His match against Jay last night was really good.
Phenomenal.
Really good.
He is so good, man. He is
really good. Then we got some video messages. Shawn Michaels.
Well. Also, the well apparently froze Larson. Also, Booker T, Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, Trish
Booker.
I think we're
Trish Stratus, Triple H. We're fine.
Let me ask you something. Couldn't Tony have just said, hey, you can have Daniel Bryan, but you have to call him Bryan Danielson?
No.
Why not?
No. Because Daniel Bryan is the WWE IP. They're going to use that.
You know, you're my best friend and I love you, but you're kind of a terrible negotiator. You don't want Owen footage. You don't want Mania 30 footage. What do you get in return, Larson? Nothing? Come on, man.
Sometimes, I guess, you just got to do what you think is right without wanting anything in return.
It's not me being sarcastic. I have a hair in my mouth.
Oh, sure. You got some lint on your tongue there,
Yeah.
huh? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Real interview. He tells Orton that win was for him. He's been having a run of bad luck, taking losses. Felt like his back was against the wall, and Cena came to him and told him never give up. Now he won. He called it a rumble, and he's going to Vegas for Money in the Bank.
He is supposed to be like a super stoner guy, so
yeah, I know.
He probably should be fucking up his lines more, to be honest with you.
Really, he should.
After that, we had Jey Uso versus Montez Ford. We already mentioned this was terrific. Montez
Fantastic.
Ford is a ton of fun in the ring. God, he's
got
so
that
good. Right. Jimmy trying to get involved led to Dawkins pouncing the shit out of him, which is awesome. Jay hits Dawkins with a suicide dive. Ford hits Jay with a suicide dive. Follows up with a frog splash for the win. And the Usos, I'm not sure what their win ratio is. Outside of title matches, it's not terrific.
Not great, especially in singles matches. Not very good.
Not terrific. So, but yeah, when they got to keep all four of those titles, they're pretty good.
They are. They're good when it counts the most. Then we got the Mysterios walking around backstage, and then they walk up, and then Finn Balor and Damian Priest are there. And then Finn tells Ray, I know this is a huge Cena celebration going on, but everyone's forgetting this is your Rey Mysterio's 20th anniversary in WWE 2. And he lists off a bunch of accomplishments, all his bona fides. He says he's loved by everyone. So what is it that you're not teaching Dom?
And Ray was like, what? Good.
Yeah. Damian Priest says the Judgment Day is about to take over this place, especially people who are tired of doing the same thing over and over. Oh, he says their doors are always open, especially the people who are tired of doing the same thing over and over when they have leaders taking them on the wrong path. And then Finn says maybe it's not bad luck Dom has. Maybe it's a bad father.
First solid point the Judgment Day has ever made. Because Ray in kayfabe is a terrible father. My God, an epically bad father. He put the custody of his son on the line.
Yeah, I don't know why you would do that.
That alone, regardless of everything else, because there's a lot more. Yeah,
should have done that. So then Ray is like, "Oh, you think I'm a bad father? Well, four of us. Let's have a tag match next week in San Diego."
Huge rematch from main event.
Yeah.
After that, we had a John Cena career retrospective. He's been there 20 years.
He has. He's done a lot of things.
He's done a lot of things, that John Cena.
Maybe some neat things, too.
He's done quite a few neat things. After that, we had, God damn it, a long Miz interview. He talks about Logan Paul.
I'll say this. At least it was an interview, and it wasn't Miz TV. Because if it was Miz TV, it would have been twice as long.
It would have been insufferable. It's just when he starts yelling about his accomplishments, it just grates on me.
I know, because it's the same thing over and over, and I get that's the point, but it's not getting the heat that they want. At least not in my case.
Yeah. So, anyways, he talks about Logan and him teaming up at SummerSlam. They're going to continue their winning ways, just like when we beat the Mysterios at Mania. Then Kevin rolls footage of Miz hitting Logan with that skull-crushing finale. Miz says, "You know what? I'm the biggest full-time star in WWE. I'm going to be on the Today Show. I got a hit show that follows Raw. So when a celebrity comes, WWE, they want to use my notoriety to become a bigger star. They demand to be associated with The Miz, and me hitting a skull-crushing finale on Logan was teaching a lesson, and Logan understood, and that means we're on the same page." No, that's not how that works. That's not how that works at all. He says they're going to be tag champions. More likely, they're just going to fight at WrestleMania.
Yep.
He calls AJ Styles. He pivots to him, calls him a disappointment, says his career's been on a downward spiral. He says, Kevin asks, "Is that why AJ asked about your tiny balls?" And Miz says, "You guys are not making that a thing. I have massive balls." He's interrupted by AJ Styles, who punches Miz, and then they have a really good match.
Yeah, it is a good match. They gave it a lot of time. In the end, though, AJ counters a skull-crushing finale into a roll-up. That gets him a 2 count. He hits a Pele kick, a brain buster. And then he's setting up for the phenomenal forearm. Miz rolls out of the ring and just walks up the ramp and gets counted out.
Yep. Yeah, lame. Yeah, AJ was super beat up after this match, too.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Giant.
Looks like someone took a cheese grater to his face.
Somebody tried to eat his face. Remember that dude on bath salts was trying to eat people's faces?
I recall that, yeah.
Yeah, man, that was messed up.
It was messed up. I don't know. Yeah, it was. I didn't even know when that happened. It was on his cheek and it was on his nose. It's all bloody.
Yeah. After that, John Cena talks to Ezekiel. John Cena's super geek to meet Zeke. Loves to speak with Zeke. Zeke says it's an honor to meet Cena. Cena says he's Zeke to meet Zeke. And Zeke says Elias is showing, he's like, hey, is your brother around? He's like, yeah, he's around here somewhere. He's showing Elron around, his other brother. He said, I want to make sure the whole world wants to speak with Zeke. He's getting some advice from Cena. And Cena just says, hey, never forget who you really are. And Zeke says, that's perfect. I'm Elias's younger brother. And then he leaves. And then Theory walks up behind Cena. He says, everybody knows who I am. You always get to talk. Everybody should be celebrating me. He says, you're out of touch. You've been wearing jorts for 20 years. I can do this all day superstar. He says, I'm the youngest U.S. champ ever. You weren't even in the WWE at 24. I'm Vince's protege, and look at you. You're a grown-ass man wearing jorts. And he's like, you know what? I gotta take a selfie here. And he grabs the phone out of his belt. And then he does it, but John Cena, he disappears.
You can't see him.
Yeah. I was hoping Theory would play into that joke. But he didn't. He was just upset.
He's like, oh, there you are, John.
There you are. Can't see it. Get it?
Yeah.
Kind of wouldn't have fit with this whole thing, but still.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't have, but it would have been funny. Then we got some more video messages. Kurt Angle, Randall Keith Orton, JBL, Chris Jericho, Stephanie McMahon, and Stone Cold, who gave John Cena hell yeah.
I used to go by 3 letters, DTA. There's another person who goes through 3 letters, lives his life by 3 letters. H, loyalty, L, respect, R. That's right, HLR. John Cena, next bitch.
Yep. Then we had Bianca Belair, Carmella face-to-face. Bianca's out first. Kevin Patrick's interviewing her. She says that she wishes that Carmella was there because everything that she wants to say to her, she wants to say to her face-to-face. And she says, I actually had hope for Carmella, hoping that she was confident enough to talk to me to my face. But no, she tried to cheap shot me last week. And she says Carmella is always going to resort to her dirty tricks and cheating because that's what she thinks she has to do. Meanwhile, no one respects her because Carmella doesn't respect herself. She says she knows Carmella is good. She knows she has the potential to be great, but she's so focused on her own insecurities that she doesn't realize she doesn't have to. But if Carmella is going to step to her at Money in the Bank, she better bring it. Says if Carmella doesn't, she says, I'm all about the competition. If Carmella doesn't bring the competition, then she's wasting my time. Carmella, get out here. So Carmella walks out and she says, Bianca, you're wrong about me. I'm not insecure at all. I got it all. I got beauty. I got brains. Says the WWE Universe doesn't respect me because of how I look. She says, I'm the total package and I won't apologize for that. Says my resume speaks for itself. She lists off all her accolades. So if I'm not given the respect I deserve, I'm going to take it. Just like I'm going to take your title at Money in the Bank because Mella is money. And then Bianca holds up the title. Carmella leaves, and Kevin's asking Bianca another question. Carmella tries to kick Bianca from behind. Bianca senses it, turns around, catches it, and dumps her out of the ring.
Yeah. So, by that go-home math, of course,
Bianca still wins.
Bianca is totally going to win. Yeah.
Yes.
Lots of confidence points on that.
Oh, yes. Perhaps all. Might be all confidence points on that one.
Roman doesn't have a match. What are the other days? So the Usos and the Street Profits. Does that happen?
There's that. There's Ronda, Natalia, and then there's Bianca and Carmella. The thing is, though, cash-ins. If someone, say Becky, makes it a triple threat, because remember at SummerSlam last year, it was supposed to be Carmella and Bianca, and then Becky beat up Carmella and took her spot after Sasha didn't make it.
Yeah.
So there's some parallels there. So I might not have all confidence on the 2 women's titles matches for fear of cash-in.
I would go with Ronda. Unless Charlotte somehow gets her way into the match, then it'd be like, I'm not doing that. No way.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. I know that they can come in and make it a triple threat. Most cash-ins happen when the match is
after
done.
the match is over. Yeah.
So I'm going to have probably most of my confidence on Ronda Rousey. Mm-hmm. She's going to tap out Natalia.
Yeah.
That's probably where most of my confidence points are going to go. And then the next highest is clearly Cody Rhodes
Winning Money in the Bank.
winning Money in the Bank.
I hope you do that.
That's a lock.
I hope you do
Absolute
that.
lock.
I hope you have 6 confidence points on Cody winning.
You know, I was going to come by and get the title the other day, and then I realized, you know what? He's got the rest of the month to have that title. You've got 2 more days.
2 more days
to celebrate that title.
I'll bring
man.
it. I'll bring it when we play basketball on Thursday.
Yeah.
Because that's what the last day of the month, right?
The last day of the month. It's
It
the
is
day
last day
before
of the
the
month.
first of the month.
You could have come and got it. It's whatever. I lost. Take it.
Oh wow! Just like that. Huh?
Don't want to see it unless I earned it.
Yeah, right.
I didn't earn it. Take
Cool.
it.
Well, I can't. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow,
Apparently,
your
I'm
camera.
leaving right now.
Wow, apparently I'm a magician. I'm a wizard. I wave my hands and your camera disappears.
That was outstanding. That was amazing. I did not see that coming. Holy crap!
Then we had a Liv Morgan Alexa Bliss interview because they have a match next, and then Alexa's asked, "Hey, what's it like having a match against your friend?" And Bliss says, "Oh, we're friendly, but we're not friends." She says, "I like Liv. She's athletic. She's resilient. Someday she's gonna be a champ, but one day, but that's not soon because I'm winning Money in the Bank." And Liv says, "Well, yeah, Bliss is right about 2 things. I will be champ one day, and we're not friends. See, friends lift each other up. On Saturday, I'm knocking you down off that ladder, and I'm going to go up to get the briefcase because one thing I learned from Cena is that you got to step to someone to let them know their time is up and your time is now." So then Alexa tells her to bring it, and Liv says, "Oh, I'm going to win Money in the Bank, and then I'm also going to win tonight. Watch me." And that match was next.
Yeah, that was a terrible segment, by the way. It was just like they kept on going. They kept on going, yeah, well, I'm going to do this. Yeah, well, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of rambling there. Liv ended up countering Alexa Bliss's DDT into a roll-up for the win. So, yeah, she beat Alexa Bliss heading into Money in the Bank. Then we had John Cena. This was really lovely. It was, they were like, yeah, John Cena is perhaps his most important role is his Mr. Make-A-Wish thing because he's like the most Make-A-Wish guy there is.
Yeah, so like over 600
Oh my God, yeah, that's a lot.
wishes.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It is amazing.
So they did a whole video package. It was him hugging a bunch of kids. It was amazing. Oh God, makes me cry. And then what brings me back to reality and scumbags of life was Vince McMahon shows up. Yeah, this guy here. There's been so many accolades said about Cena. So the whole locker room comes out. They line the ring.
Yeah.
Vince comes out. Yeah, it's my honor and privilege to introduce John Cena, a man who's currently not under investigation. Unlike me. And then John Cena goes on to talk a lot. He says,
He does.
"Today's my WWE birthday, and as I look around at people as far as the eye can see," he says, "I can feel the energy and hear the noise, and I couldn't think of a better place to have my birthday." He shouts out, he says, "Oh, look at that sign right there. It says I've been wearing jorts for 20 years. And he looks at a kid and he's like, "You're young. I've been wearing jorts 14 years longer than you've been alive." He said, "I've never been one to celebrate milestones because I always like to look forward to what's next. Also, I'm a robot, but tonight is different because tonight has nothing to do with anything I've ever done. Tonight has everything to do with all of you people, the fans." He says, "This 20th anniversary is important to me because that means the fans have allowed me to do this for 2 decades. Every time I step foot in the ring, it's because the fans allowed." And the entire time, I'm just thinking of his breakdown of his debut, and him saying, "There's nothing here that matters. We're just doing moves."
I know. It's like, I'm not showing a whole lot of ruthless aggression here, am I?
And so I'd love to see him break down what he's doing in the ring for this.
Exactly.
But anyways, he talks about the fans, how they have allowed him to be who he is, and they tell him if he sucks or if he's good. Crowd starts chanting, "Thank you, Cena." He starts getting a little bit emotional, and where he starts talking about his heart. He's like, "Man, my heart's beating out of my chest. I need to thank you for making me who I am." He does mention, he says, he might be back in the ring at some point. I don't know when, but that might happen. He says, "It's been 20 years and I'm 45 years old." And I say that because I don't know when they're going to see him in the ring again. I just need to say this now. Anything I do outside of this is never just about me. It's about you. It's about everybody coming together. It's about us, the WWE. The fans have made me who I am. If you see something that's good, you say it. If you see something that sucks, you say it. He said, keep on doing that. If you see something you don't like, tell them. If you see something you like, let them know. And he says, we never give up. We're just getting started. And if you want some, come get some. So, yeah, good Cena speech there.
Yeah, it was solid. Then we got a handicap match. Bobby Lashley taking on Alpha Academy. Early on, Theory distracts Lashley, and that allows Alpha Academy to take control of the match. Eventually, though, Alpha Academy's looking for their finish. Lashley escapes that. Otis hits a corner splash. He's looking for a Vader bomb. Lashley escapes that. Dumps Otis from the electric chair. Gable then leaps off the top rope. Lashley catches him right into a hurt lock. Gable taps.
That Otis
basically
bit was nuts, man.
What's that?
That Otis bit was nuts when he put Otis on his shoulders. Oh my god,
that was crazy. And so basically, as the bell is ringing, you hear the reverberations from Hammer hitting bell. Mm-hmm. Theory is already in the ring.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
and he's attacking Lashley. Alpha Academy joins in. Alpha Academy is holding up Lashley so Theory could take a selfie, and then Lashley boots Theory, lays out the Alpha Academy. He's trying to spear Theory, but then Theory rolls out of the ring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The crowd was really into this. They're really into Bobby Lashley right now. They're going to be pretty upset when Austin Theory steals this win.
Yep.
After that, we had a Cody Rhodes interview from his rehab facility. He says rehab is a game of highs and lows, and it pales in comparison to where I was 3 weeks ago. And I was hoping that the bruising would have taken over his entire upper body.
Oh yeah. Instead, there was none.
There was none. Yeah, there was basically like a Band-Aid right here.
This where I'm sure his incision was from surgery. Yeah,
exactly.
He probably still has the sutures in it.
Yeah, he says
maybe it's been a couple weeks. Maybe they took those out already. I don't know.
He says entering the prime of my career and winning it, Hell in a Cell. He says I would have loved to parlay that momentum into Money in the Bank. He says, I was flying high, but as they say, maybe flying a little too close to the sun. After a sledgehammer to the chest, now they're telling me 9 months, and I'm going to try to respect that. He says, it'll be bittersweet watching Money in the Bank. This year has one of the most talented groupings in the history of the match. There's Drew and Sheamus, Omos, Sami Zayn, and then you have Seth freaking Rollins, man responsible for the most successful cash-in the history of the company. And he puts over everybody. He talks about Sami Zayn, distracting people with his crazy conspiracy shit, but the fact is he's got a genius-level IQ in the ring. Mm-hmm. He puts over everybody like that.
Yeah.
He says, talking about Seth and the cash-in, he says, it'd be something if history were to repeat itself. If Seth were to get the Money in the Bank briefcase, one that has eluded me my whole career, he says, if he was to cash in, wouldn't that be something? He says, I'm not rooting for anybody, but if Seth takes the win, I'll be the first to congratulate him.
Yep. Then we are backstage. John Cena's talking to a production guy. Seth Rollins steps in, and he's laughing to the tune of Cena's theme song. Ha, 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 ha.
Yeah.
So then Seth asks Cena, hey, do you remember when I kneed you in the face and broke your nose?
That's the picture he tweeted out, too. Seth Rollins, he tweeted out that awesome black and white picture of Cena's face.
His nose all
he said, welcome back, Cena.
That's funny. So he says, it's good to see you. You look great. We've had a lot of ups and downs, but we actually have a lot in common. We're both international megastars. We're both fashion icons. And since the season, we're both winners of the Money in the Bank contract. But, I know when you tried to cash in, you failed. But when I cashed in, everybody knows what happened. It was the greatest cash in of all time. And this year at Vegas, history is going to repeat itself for me, not you, because you're not in the match. Are you? But Cena's distracted at this point. He's and Seth doesn't know why.
He's looking up.
So,
he's like, yeah.
So Seth turns around, and there's Omos and MVP. And MVP says, I overheard what you were saying, Seth, and much like you, I am a visionary as well, because I have a vision of Omos standing in the middle of the ring amongst a sea of broken ladders and shattered bodies holding up the Money in the Bank briefcase. He says, Omos is inevitable, and there's nothing Seth or anyone else can do to stop him. And Seth kind of looks over towards Cena, and Cena just says, good luck, slaps Seth on the back, and leaves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we had our main event.
It was Becky Lynch, Shayna Baszler, Xia Li, Doudrop, Tamina, Nikki Ash, all in a last chance elimination match. Wildly fun stuff. Doudrop had a hell of a showing here.
Yep.
Eliminated Shayna Baszler. So Becky put the disarmor on Nikki. She tapped out. She had also hit Xia Li with a manhandle slam, so Xia Li was eliminated. Doudrop then eliminates Shayna Baszler after hitting a front splash. Tamina misses a fun splash off the top. Dewdrop then pulls Becky out of the ring, hits a splash on the floor. Dewdrop hits Tamina with a Vader bomb elbow. Tamina's eliminated from that. And then Dewdrop goes on against Becky. Slams her, looks for an elbow drop. Becky escapes that, looks for a manhandle slam. Dewdrop blocks that, puts Becky on the top, and then Becky's able to counter that, hits a manhandle slam off the second rope to get the win. She is now in Money in the Bank.
Yep. It was a really fun bout.
Mm-hmm,
check it out. What are your way to check it out?
Yeah.
You want to answer some questions?
Sure. I've got a thread right here on the Patreon, patreon.com/Steven Larson. It's a great way to support Going In Raw. And if you can't make the show live, or even if you can, we read a lot of our questions off this thread here.
Oh, before we get to questions, Cena's new shirt, yay or nay?
It's fine. I don't like the never give up at the bottom. That bugs me.
I like the hat more because it's like the old hat, like the sports teams hats I used to wear in the 90s.
Yeah, it has
where it has
font.
the script and then the.
Yeah,
so.
The hat's fine. The shirt's fine.
There's too much going on the shirt. If it was simplified, it'd be better.
Yeah, but it's a Cena shirt. There's always too much going on. Yeah, I don't like. Yeah, the design is a little wonky. It's wonky. I like. Yeah, no. Dave Matushek
Thumbs down, says Steve.
Asks, yeah, it's a thumbs down. It's not fine. I said fine. I don't know why. I try to be nice sometimes. Said, considering that Owens versus Ezekiel's canceled, do you think Kevin Owens has been injured?
Don't know. Unknown.
Blake Whitehouse, which faction had more heat during their peak? Judgment Day up until now, or Retribution in its entirety?
Did Retribution ever have heat?
Does Judgment Day have heat?
They might have had a little bit of heat when Edge was running things. Maybe. Not a ton.
It's Judgment Day. Retribution started out as like, what the fuck is this? With when they had all those Performance Center people coming in with masks. And then when they got it figured out.
To cut the ropes down and everything.
I remember, I don't know. People thought it was cool when Ali was revealed as the leader because it was like, oh, cool, he gets to do something. But then they just turned them into a clown show. They never got wins. And it's like, what are you supposed to do with them if you're not going to have them win? Like, what's the point of this group if they're not a threat to anybody?
Yeah, there's no point.
So I would say Judgment Day.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Let's see here. Alex Foster says, what other people should have made cameos for Cena? Alex Foster says, Yano, Ishii, or Sangha. Sangha. Oh, man. Sangha, hey, brother. I love you in Peacemaker. You're great.
Yeah, that'd been great.
I like the dance you do, brother.
That'd been pretty great. Roz Cody asks, who has been booked better since leaving their former employer, Wardlow or Madcap Moss, and who is the best formerly employed superstar in wrestling history? It's Madcap Moss has been booked better since leaving Corbin.
Yeah.
There was no lawsuit.
Wardlow has... Dude, you had something with Wardlow. Tony, you had something with Wardlow. It's going to take a while to get that back, man.
Yeah, it is.
And every week it's just getting worse and worse.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Lord Ziffer says, what do you guys see Balor doing at SummerSlam? Cameron Bartolozzo has the right answer. Probably Edge.
Yeah, they'll probably wrestle Edge and he'll probably lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nick Kyle says, if John Cena ever went to New Japan now, how many 5-star matches would he have and with whom? Oh, Cena Tanahashi would be 5 stars.
Yeah, you gotta have that match.
Yeah, that's the match right there.
Yep.
Mayor Planet uses, with everything going on with Sasha Banks, what happens with Naomi? I know about as much about what's going on with Sasha Banks as I do Naomi. Like, there's been reports that her lawyers are working on the release, but I don't know if that's, how confirmed, that actually is, or how that process is going. And I don't know anything about Naomi either. So, I mean, obviously Sasha Banks has a head start in terms of where she is outside of wrestling.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's difficult to say at this point.
Agreed. Yeah. It's tough to say.
Luis Areza says, what career trajectory would change with a Money in the Bank win. He says Shayna. Yeah, Shayna. Boy, I wish they'd get Shayna back to where she should be right now.
I know. Totally. Yeah, it's a bummer that since she lost to Becky at WrestleMania a couple years back. You know, I mean, I guess her and Nia as tag champs had some decent moments, but outside of that, like her main roster run has not been. No, yeah, that's great.
Sad. Her biggest accomplishment has been the tag run with Nia Jax. Yeah. All right. Anyways, we're gonna answer. Oh, go ahead. One last one.
Crankzone Gaming. Will we get Balor and Rhea versus Edge and Beth Phoenix? That'd be cool.
I have no idea. Like, there's the report out there that Rhea might be dealing with some sort of brain injury. Apparently, she put that on social media in response to a question from somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of that, so I would not assume she'd be back until she's actually back.
Back on our TVs. That is a fair point.
Yeah. But maybe that would have been the match.
Could be.
Absolutely.
Could have been.
We're going to answer some more of these questions for the Twitch. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow with our AEW review.
Correct.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Stone Cold Steve Austin impersonator Phil McDonald, here to tell you to go support Going In Raw and Friendo Club at patreon.com/Steven Larson. They got bonus episodes, ad-free audio, a weekly newsletter rounding up the week in wrestling news, and a bunch more. Patreon.com/Steven Larson. Go support or get hit with a stunner.